What up? So today I'm going to show you how to take a line drawing and embroider on that see-through mesh stuff. See-through mesh stuff. So the mesh stuff is called Tulle, and that's what I'll refer to it as. First, pop out that inner hoop, put the tool on top, and then smush the outer hoop on top. Make sure it's nice and tight, and pull along the outside of the tool so it's nice and taut in the middle. Next, you're going to take your floss, cut it, and thread it through your needle, this blurry needle, and start from the bottom. And what you're going to want to do is leave a little tail. You'll use that later to fasten it down. So then just come down through the top. And the cool thing about it being see-through is you can use your understitch as part of the design. So just keep on doing that, coming up and going down. If you wanted to make it all look on top, when you're doing your understitch, just come right close next to your previous one, like right here again. I just did a hole right close to where I just went down. Not the same hole, but one close. And then using a piece of paper as my guide, I just went under one little like stitch of the tool and kind of weaved it in there and just followed along that line. And that's basically what we'll be doing when we trace out the line drawing. But the cool thing about Tulle is you can do pretty much any stitch you want. Like I'm gonna do like some satin stitches right here, and then some split stitches, some blah 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 blah, maybe a little flower. You just have to be conscious of your stitch that's on the underside because it shows up. So I left a little tail, and I'm flipping it over. I'm gonna take that tail and split it into two different sections, and then thread the needle with one of them, and then come underneath a previous stitch. And then I'll just tie a square knot, right over left, left over right, just blah 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 blah. Cut off the excess. Did the same on the other tail, but I went under one of the little strands of Tulle, and then tie the knot and cut off the excess. Also add a little bit of fabric glue, and then you can just like use your fingers to pinch it and kind of hide it behind the previous stitch. Do the same there on the flower guy, and when I turn over, you can't even see it. So cool. So to start off the design, I just did like a rough sketch of what I wanted, put a piece of paper over it, and then kind of drew it out more finessed, erased it, and then try to figure out how to make like a single continuous line, because that's what the thread's going to be doing. So I did lots of loopsy loops, loop-de-doops, and then ended up hating it. So we're going to start again. I'm a big advocate of the phrase imitate to create, meaning I just like copied these two artists' stuff so I could learn some tricks on how to get this continuous line to work for me, and then try to figure out on one of my own designs. So I lightly drew out kind of the line drawing of the whole design and started figuring out how to connect those lines together in one single continuous thing. Now just to make it smaller, because I want to do this on like an itty bitty baby hoop, added a cute little flower, and I hate it. It looked like it was like wearing a helmet or had goggles, so I redid it and then did the final drawing to size. Then I just put the small hoop under that paper, put the tool on top of the paper, and then just smammaged that outer hoop over the top of it. Made sure it's kind of tight, tightened it up, and started. Started from the bottom. And then I decided, what if I tried a different needle? So I have this little hooked one, and we're just gonna use that to like go under a couple of like the Tulle stitchings, go forward a little bit, then go under another couple along the line. Do that again so that it has like this pattern of being on top of the tool and under the tool, and just did that through the whole thing, and that seemed to work pretty good. And as you see, I'm going over and under the tool, but I'm actually not even piercing the paper. That will make it easier to separate the paper and the tool later on. So I did my last little stitch, go through the paper, then I start loosen up the hoop and separate it, and cool. Flipped it over, closed off one of those tails where I had to change my thread, and then smammaged that into a smaller hoop and cut off the excess around, and we're done. I did use this same technique on one of my friend's wedding bells, but I just like free-handed it, which turned out to be pretty fun and relaxing. And also I thought it looked pretty cool. I think it'd be cool to do one with just like a shit ton of flowers on it. So I actually filmed this whole project forever ago, and now that I'm like going through the footage and doing this part right here that I'm filming, I'm realizing, what if I would have just like put my paper down on the table of the image I wanted to do, and then put the tool, and then with a marker traced it. So we're gonna test that out in here in a second, but I wanted to show you guys, oh, it's out in my car. Hold please. This. So I got this made by machine. Get out of here, bud. Oh, he just ripped a hole in it. But I will have like 25 of these available in my shop if you want like some Tulle embroidered, but you don't want to have to do it yourself. And I got a new little kitty cat. Isn't he just the best boy? But you know what isn't the best boy? Through the internet, people can see your personal information, like your passwords, your interests, and your financial information. Wow, what an incredible segue to today's sponsor. So super big thanks to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. Honestly, before I used NordVPN, I wasn't really sure what a VPN is. Don't tell anybody. Basically, all it does is it gives you privacy and more content on the internet. What I like best about it is Netflix. If you're in different countries, they have different shows and movies available. Well, that's what you can do. You can like say, oh, I'm actually in Canada or wherever when you're not. And then you can see all of the shows that wouldn't be available to you. And that's what I do it for, because if you're anything like me, I have to watch something like while I craft or while I edit or while I do anything. So half the time I'm like, oh, there's nothing on Netflix. There's really like thousands. I'm like, I don't know, there's nothing new. And so what I'll do is I'll actually just go and say I'm in a different country, and it'll be like, oh, bunch of new stuff. I don't know why I did that, but there's a bunch of new stuff, and that's what I use it for the most. So they're doing a special offer. You can get NordVPN 68% off, and that's, how much is that? These numbers are wild. That's $3.71 a month, and you get the first month free. And do that by going to their site, NordVPN/Shmoxd, and using the coupon code Shmoxd. I get questions a lot on like how you can like support me, and I do have things like Patreon and my merch and whatnot. Another way you guys can support me is supporting my sponsors. So cool. Also, I know this is a mess. If you could see what's not in frame, like this ground over here, it's real bad. I'm kind of just like letting myself go because I'm moving soon. I'm gonna move in a couple weeks. I have a shop. I'm in Rose Anvil, Weston, my buddy. I'm in his shop. I have a little space there. He actually did a little shop tour. I'll put a link to it if you guys want to see it. And yeah, I think that's about it. So let's try that little tool trick and see if we can just use a marker to draw. Okay. So I just placed that paper down with the design, put the tool on top, and excuse me, sir, and started just tracing it with this Sharpie. And it seems like it's gonna work. So I just hooped it up and started going at it. I immediately noticed there's like a little ghost pattern where the Sharpie is. So to fix that, you could just use a bigger thread or draw thinner lines. Another trick I learned to hide like the white tool on top of the thread is you just can Sharpie it out. So cool. Here's an example of a thinner line, so there is no like ghost image. Also, when you are tracing it, taping it down helps out a lot. And like I said earlier, I have 25 of those hand designs available on my site. The hoop's not included, but it looks good in like a 6-inch hoop, so I might have to pick one of those up. But I'm also curious what you guys will do with them without a hoop. So don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed. Hit the bell notification if you haven't hit the bell notification. I am going to be doing a more complex tool tutorial in the future, like this little leopard. I'll probably do another one that's not quite as hard, but it's coming soon.